A directionally manipulatable view enhancement apparatus, including a fixed base, a rotatable support supported on the fixed base, and rotatable about a pan axis, a yoke disposed on, and pivotable with respect to the rotatable support about a tilt axis substantially perpendicular to the pan axis, a pan motor that rotates the rotatable support and yoke about the pan axis, the tilt motor that rotates the yoke about the tilt axis, and a first clutch between the rotatable support and the pan motor permitting the rotatable support to rotate relative to the fixed base independently of the pan motor, or a second clutch between the yoke and the tilt motor allowing the yoke to rotate relative to the rotatable support independently of the tilt motor. The yoke retains an electrical component, and the pan motor and tilt motor are in electrical communication with a controller remote from the fixed base. The invention relates to spotlights for vehicles and other applications, and more specifically to systems and methods for controlling spotlights, and controllers employing the same. Many emergency vehicles are equipped with lights that project illumination in a fixed direction, for example, forward of the vehicle or to the sides of the vehicle. For greatest effectiveness, it is helpful for the first responder to have a source of illumination, such as a spotlight that can be moved to direct light in a desired direction. To be effective, the spotlight must be movable over a wide range of trajectories about a horizontal axis and a vertical axis. In the past, police and other emergency vehicles have been equipped with spotlights that are directed by means of a mechanism that is installed through a hole in the A-pillar, a structural member of the vehicle in front of the driver's door and at the left edge of the windshield. There is a need for a spotlight control mechanism that does not require forming a hole in a vehicle's structural member. There is also a need for a spotlight control mechanism that resembles the look and feel of the traditional mechanical control mechanism, so police and other first responders will intuitively know how to direct the spotlight. There is also a need for a spotlight control mechanism that improves over the traditional mechanical control mechanism. The relationship between manipulation of the control interface and movement of the spotlight will be referred to in this application as a transfer function. The disclosed control assemblies and spotlight assemblies include microcontrollers with memory and processors that execute program instructions. According to aspects of the disclosure, one embodiment of the control assembly is configured to replicate the look and feel of the L-shaped mechanism that has been used for many years. The handle and grip of a disclosed L-shaped user interface are connected to concentric shafts supported by a control assembly housing. Sensors are arranged in the control assembly to detect rotation of the shafts and generate corresponding spotlight control signals. Programmable microcontrollers in the control assembly and spotlight execute program code to convert movement of the shafts into spotlight control signals directing the spotlight assembly. The relationship between rotation of the shafts and spotlight direction is governed by the program code executed in the control assembly and spotlight assembly microcontrollers. The microcontrollers can be programmed to duplicate the complex mathematical relationship of shaft position to spotlight direction described above, or may be simplified to relate the position of each shaft with one spotlight axis of movement. A directionally manipulatable device, comprising a housing having a hub, the hub defining a first control axis, a fixed base configured to mate with the housing rotatable 360 degrees relative to the fixed base, about a second control axis perpendicular to the first control axis. A handle configured to engage the hub and pivot about the first control axis, and wherein the directionally manipulatable device detects a position of the housing relative to the fixed base and a position of the handle relative to the housing, generates a housing position signal based on the position of the housing relative to the fixed base, and a handle position signal based on the position of the handle relative to the housing, receives the housing position signal and the handle position signal and generates directionally manipulatable device control signals based on the housing position signal and the handle position signal.